Hello and welcome to glennzb TV, the show that puts glennzb into your virtual headset. Yes, I'm bringing New Zealand to the world, and the world to New Zealand. And I just got to ask, do you really know, New Zealand, who you're voting for this election? Because when you vote for New Zealand first, you know that you're not just voting for Winston, right? You get some other people as well if he gets enough votes. You get Deputy Leader Ron Mark, for example. That's him there. You can tell it's him because he's wearing the ridiculous cowboy hat and playing country music in public. I'm just saying, you need to be careful about these things. TV's stupid, isn't it? Why? And I know I've asked you these questions before, but I still haven't had any answers, so I think it's worth asking again. Why, when there's a hurricane, and the important message for people is don't stand out in the hurricane, don't go into the hurricane, don't see how deep the water is, don't see how windy it is, don't see how big the storm surge is, and yet, reporter after reporter after reporter after reporter go out and do exactly the thing that they're trying to tell people not to do. We know there's a hurricane. We believe you. You don't actually have to put the camera out the window. Send it on a drone if you must. But please, don't stand in the middle of the flood. It's not necessary. And for God's sake, don't go up a high rise just to show us how strong the wind is. And don't stand on a dock that's submerged under a storm surge. That guy, he stood there for at least 4 hours this morning. I'm not even kidding. 4 hours in a hurricane. They must pay them very well, these people. The thing that really confused me here is there's 1, 2, 3, 4 jet skis in the background here, just tied to poles. Why did they not take the jet skis inside? A jet ski, is in terms of the boats, that's a relatively easy thing to move, I would have thought, but obviously they weren't that worried about it. I mean, in all fairness, they're still there, aren't they? In spite of all the wind and everything, still there. I don't know. In fact, I don't understand the weather at all, because it's Maori language this week. Maori language week. We're all supposed to speak te reo all week. And this is really annoying, but the thing I like about it is I get to make my funny joke that I make every year in this week that I don't understand where the weather's happening because they change all the place names to their Maori names. See, I mean, just look at that. Whakatane, Tauranga, Rotorua, Tokoroa, Taupo. I don't know any of that. Do you recognise any of those names? Oh, hang on. Those are the normal names for those places. All right. But, with Auckland, its name gets changed to something, but I can't remember what it is, and they didn't do it this time! What's going on? And Hamilton is still Hamilton. Wait, further down. No. New Plymouth, still New Plymouth. They've left the H in Whanganui, so I guess that's Palmerston North, still Palmerston North. Levin, still Levin. Wellington, still... Wow, I don't get to make that joke. Bit of a disappointment, really. Maybe TVNZ's just stopped caring about Maori language, obviously. Marama Fox is going to be really annoyed. Finally, now there's been a lot of comparisons since Damien Light, the leader of United Future, turned up at the minor parties debate on Friday night, and everybody went, "Oh, that's Damien Light. He looks just like Ryan Gosling." And maybe he does, but there's a few things about Damien Light that are not like Ryan Gosling. For example, if we just now went to Ryan Gosling's house, what are the chances that he's sitting there just gaming with his partner there, this de facto husband? Do you think in a kind of what appears to be a messy student flat, do you think that's what's happening at Ryan Gosling's house right now? Do you think he's just cuddling up with a guy who appears to be such an avid gamer that I'm not even sure that he's ever been outside ever. I mean, he seems like a nice guy and everything, but he's very pasty. And I do fear that if he ever actually was exposed to natural light, he would just dissolve into a pile of ashes kind of like a vampire. So, yeah. I mean, I guess this is why they're the party of the future, because it's all about the gaming, and then it's all about working the socials on your smartphone. Anyway, that's Damien Light for you. Finally, have we reached the peak of saying that we're at peak, whatever we're at the peak of? We had a story about reaching peak phone last week. You know, now that we've got the Note 8 and it seems to be working without exploding, is that the best we can possibly do for phones? Now this week, apparently New Zealand might be at peak cow. We can't sustain any more cows. I feel like this is becoming a very overused term, and I would like us to not use it anymore. Look for something else, please. I don't want to hear about being at peak anything else. And I'm going to keep an eye on it, all right? This is the peak of this podcast, and by that I mean the end. This is episode 500. Have we reached peak glennzb TV? No, we haven't. There's plenty more to come yet. Thank you for having me in your virtual headset for 500 episodes. See you back here again tomorrow for 501.